Julia, I must say your quarantine here has been impeccable this entire time. How do you do it? No, I mean it, truly. Say, what are you doing when we wrap up filming tonight? What? Oh. Welcome back to WXYZ News at 7. In our Back of the Book segment tonight, a man was seen on security camera footage fleeing a Wayne County supermarket with what managers claim were stolen frozen lasagnas. Officials have not yet been able to identify this man, and anyone with any information that can lead to his identification or arrest should contact the Wayne County Police Department. That's it for tonight's news at 7. We'll see you in 23 and a half hours. Signing off now, I'm Nick Savannah.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hello?
Hey, Randy. Are you crying?
A little bit. Susanna left me.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. What happened?
I was talking to some of my friends on Zoom, the women that I paid, and I don't want to get into them weeds, but Susanna come home early from work and saw me, and she said, "Randy, I can't deal with you no more. I'm out of here." And she left.
Ooh, yikes. I'm really sorry, Randy. But did you know you were just on the news? You stole lasagna?
Well, cuz I got to have my lasagna.
I mean, I could have made you lasagna.
You'd make lasagna for me?
Yeah, really.
Today? Right now?
Right now? You mean you're not set for a while with the ones you stole?
I done already ate the ones I got, but I'm still hungry. I need that lasagna, that cheese to make my heart feel better.
Oh, okay. All right. You got it. Wait, are you on speakerphone right now? I'm hearing some weird kind of an echo. Randy, where are you?
I'm in your guest bedroom.
What? How did you get in here?
Anubis let me in while you was at work.
Anubis.
You think I could stay here for a little while?
Sure.
Well, thank you, cuz.
How long is a little while? Randy? Randy! We will begin by making our pasta. Add about a tablespoon of olive oil to a bowl, followed by 3 whole eggs. Next, we're going to need to separate 5 additional eggs. So just crack the shell and pass the yolk back and forth in your hands until that white albumin just kind of falls off. Add all of your yolks to the bowl. And then season with a good pinch of salt. And we're going to need to go ahead and vigorously whip these with a fork until the whites and yellows are all very thoroughly combined. Now, 2 cups of 00 flour are required for this recipe. If you don't have 00, I'll put some notes down below for how this works with all-purpose. Make a little flour stadium there, and then add in all of your eggs. Once you've gotten your eggs put in, just use a fork and gently incorporate little bits of flour, stirring and kind of folding as you go, so that it forms a kind of a thick, gloopy egg flour paste like that. And once you've gotten it to where it's not runny, you can start adding the flour more quickly. Get everything worked in, and then start using your hands to form it into a shaggy dough. Now, as you're working with it, if you find that it's pretty sticky, that's a problem. So you're going to want to add just a little bit more flour. The dough should not be sticking to your hands. Once you've got the right amount of flour in there, knead it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Go ahead and wrap it in plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge. Give it 30 minutes or an hour, and when the dough does not spring back like that, when you can leave a little dimple in there, you are ready to work with it. If you work with it too fast, it's going to fight you the whole time, and it's going to be very difficult to work with. Get some board flour down, a little flour on the top of the dough, and sort of flatten it out and form it into an oval or a ball, just so it's nice and even. Using a knife or a bench scraper, go ahead and cut that dough right in half as evenly as possible, and then into quarters. And then each one of those quarters you're going to cut in half so that ultimately you're left with 8 fairly even pieces of dough. It's time to roll these out. I'm just kidding. We're going to be using the pasta making attachment on a stand mixer, and you should probably flatten your dough a little more than I did, but I'm just trying to show you that this is not difficult and you don't have to be a perfectionist. Run it through the thickest setting once, laminate it or fold the ends over, and run it back through that same thickest setting. Do that 2 or 3 times, and then drop your setting down to the next one so that you're going to basically get it progressively more thin. If at any point you find your dough starts to stick to the rollers, just dust on a little flour. And how thin you make this is up to you. For my attachment, I went to about a 5 or a 6, 7 and 8 being the thinnest. I like my dough a little bit thick, but do it as thin or as thick as you like. Once you've got it all rolled out, set it on a rack or on a sheet to dry. Now it's going to need to dry for about 30 minutes to an hour, so it's time to get started on our sauce. I'm going to put a pound of ground beef and a pound of Italian sausage. You can use sweet, hot, mild, any kind you want. Ideally, you go ahead and get it when it's not already in the casings, but if it is, just cut it out, add it to the bowl. Give that a little seasoning with some pepper and a good hefty pinch of salt. And then using a spatula or this fancy piece of equipment right here, just crumble all that meat up and cook it. Once it's cooked through, I like to use a paper towel. You can use a spoon, but get some of that excess fat and grease down there. We don't want an Exxon Valdez situation going on top of our lasagna. To that, we're going to add 1 white onion that's been chopped finely, along with 8 ounces of cremini or button mushrooms, also chopped fine, and start those cooking. To this, I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of dried Italian seasoning, along with 1, 2, or 10 crushed cloves of garlic. I put 3 in, but if you like more, go ahead. Cook that for 5 or 10 minutes until the onions have softened, and then you're going to add in 1 cup of red wine to deglaze, along with 2 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, and make sure to give those a rinse with a little bit of water. That makes sure you get all the tomato sauce out, the crushed tomatoes out, but it also gives you a little bit of extra cooking liquid, which is going to come in handy when we bake the pasta. Cover and simmer for about 30 minutes. The final component is our cheese. So I have here 1 container of full-fat ricotta, to which I'm going to add, of course, salt and pepper, 1 egg, and a good heavy grating of fresh Parmigiano Reggiano. I'll put the exact amounts down in the description below. 1 handful of chopped parsley, and then get in there with a spatula and kind of break that egg up a little bit, and just let everything get to know each other. Finally, we will deal with our fresh mozzarella cheese. I have 2 8-ounce balls here that I'm just going to cut up into about little half-inch chunks. You can use shredded, but I like to cut it up myself. Now we begin layering our lasagna. In a deep 13 by 9 inch pan, you're going to put 1 to 2 scoops of your sauce, and then start adding your noodles. If they happen to be too long, that's alright, just cut them down to size. You're probably going to want to use 3 across the bottom depending on the width. And you know those little edges that you cut off? Those make great noodles too, so don't throw those out. After we've got our first layer of noodles down, it's time to add some more of our sauce. You want to go ahead and get a big ladle in there and make sure it's nice and even before you start adding the next layer. That will be half of our ricotta mixture. Spoon it on there and spread it out. Again, you want to have this to be as even as possible so that every bite has a little bit of everything in it. Once you've kind of got that spread out all the way to the edges, it's time to add 1/3 of our cubed up fresh whole milk mozzarella. Again, just try and sprinkle it as evenly as you can. Now you're just going to repeat this whole process again with 3 more pieces of your pasta, another layer of your meat sauce, and then the last half of the ricotta mixture. Another 1/3 of your mozzarella pieces, and finally the top layer of noodles. To this we're going to add just another layer of meat sauce, And if you have any left over, this goes great on spaghetti, so definitely don't throw it away. We're going to add the other third of our mozzarella that we've cubed up. Lastly, we are going to grate on what is probably an absurd amount of fresh Parmigiano Reggiano, but this stuff's amazing, so go heavy with it. You're going to want to give that pan a little shimmy shake so that everything sits evenly in there, and then that is going to go into a 375-degree oven for 35 to 45 minutes until the pasta is cooked through and it's bubbling around the edges. You can broil it at the end if you want for that nice golden brown top. You know I did. Now, not even Randy's going to touch this for 30 minutes because it has to cool and set. I like to garnish mine with a little bit of chiffonade basil, maybe some fresh parsley, and I think that looks just about right. Randy.
Yeah, cuz.
Look, with the whole super sniffle and all still going around, and I don't know where you've been, besides the grocery store, I'm going to bring the lasagna up and just leave it on the floor and come grab it after I walk away. All right?
Oh, boy. Thank you so much, cuz.
You're welcome, Randy. Anytime.
Question.
What's that?
Do you have any Corona?
Nope. We are fresh out.
You think you could go to the store and get me a case or 2 or 3?
Well, look, from me, Randy, Anubis, and the rest of the cast and crew around here at Dishing Out, we want to say thank you, sincerely, for watching Season 2. If this is your first video and first stop by our channel, then tap that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications, like, for example, when Season 3 is coming out. It'll be sometime in August. If you're already all caught up, then I guess you've got some time to kill. As for what to do with it, I can only think of one thing. Go make something delicious.